What's going on, guys? Welcome to Mountain Motorsports in Roswell for another Chaseontwowheels first ride. And today we're going to redo the 2017 R6. I had a mic failure the last time I tried this. You can reference this video to see my beautiful frustration, but I am so ready to get back on this thing. Let's get it started. Alright guys, 2017 R6, it is cold, so I'm going to let it heat up for a second while I sit on it and get all the feels. So as you guys know, I have been riding my 2009 R6 for like 4 or 5 years now, so I'm very versed. I feel very confident in riding an R6. God, it even feels like an R6. I mean, it is an R6. It feels like the older R6. I am going to be careful. They're all washing the bike, so my feet are a little soapy. You know, as far as moving the bike back and forth, weight-wise on my legs, it feels really similar to mine. Seat height, you know, the R6 is going to be a higher seat. If I stand up on my feet, I can flat foot, but you guys can tell there's barely any bend in my legs. I'm 5'10", so just keep that in mind. This is not really a bike for a shorter rider. Now, we got a mode button down here. Standard, A, B. If I remember correctly, B is the slow mode. We'll keep it in that. Traction control goes from, do I hold it and it goes off? Okay, so you can turn traction control off and then it goes 1 to what? 6. Okay, we'll keep it in 3. What else? You got adjustable suspension, which is awesome. Okay, cool. Let's ride this thing around. Oh, lordy. Man, you know, you ride an R6 and you realize what like a race body position is. I've been riding my Daytona 675R. Oh, this is leaned over a lot. All super sports have like a race body position, but the R6, I feels like it puts your butt up higher, which makes you lean over more. Oh my god, dude, this feels just like my 2009. That's so awesome. And for the 2017 R6, from what I've read, there has been, as far as engine wise, nothing has changed, or very little has changed. All the changes in this model are basically trickle downs from the R1. So you guys know we got a brand new R1 in 2015, but the 2014 model of the R1, this dash, very similar, if not the exact same. Obviously it's not the exact same, but very similar to the 2014 looking R1s. We've got the 2015 R1 adjustable suspension, or very similar. You know, we've got traction control, we've got modes. The old R6, I was never not happy with the engine. I was always unhappy that you had this beautiful, really awesome motorcycle that had an amazing engine, especially for riding technical roads, but it didn't have any technology. It literally, like, it just felt like an afterthought. It's like, nobody wants technology. We're not worried about that. Oh, leaning. You lean this bike over a little bit and you realize what is supposed to be comfortable with this bike. It's not a bike made to, you know, sit in traffic in, or or just lollygag in. It's a bike to enjoy riding, and for that it does such a good job. I know there's something about a quick shifter. I don't think it comes standard. I think it's like an aftermarket, like Yamaha makes a quick shifter for it. I'm pretty sure that they don't come with it though. We'll check that out in a second. Man, B mode is chill off the line. Quick shifter? No quick shifter. Okay, cool. So basically you can get a stock quick shifter from Yamaha if you want something like that, and supposedly it's really easy to install and all that kind of stuff. And R6 is a great bike to have a quick shifter on. Leaning back and forth and kind of like playing with the bike, the weight feels not changed at all. And I don't know all the technicals of the bike. You guys can look all that stuff up. I'm here to kind of give you my first impressions of it. And having just gotten off my 2009 R6, I really feel like you could have just kind of wrapped this bike, taken all the fairings off and let me ride it and not told me what type of bike it is, and I could have told you it's an R6. So as far as that R6 characteristic, I don't think any of that has changed. Let's let these people turn. Man, that engine braking, you know, that's when you know you're on an R6, when you're on a bike that screams your head off and has massive engine braking. God, no wonder I never use the brakes on mine, man. Like the engine braking legit throws you forward when you let it down, especially when you're in a little higher of a gear. Ooh, that slipper clutch, dude. God almighty, Jesus, yes. That is the R6 we all know and love. It looks like the power band is a little higher than on mine. That one, I think that kicked in at like 8 or something, between 8 and 9. And what I'm talking about is 8,000 and 9,000 is where the power of the bike really comes in, because the R6 is one of those bikes, it's almost like having two motorcycles. There's a power band between 0 and 7-ish thousand, where the bike doesn't have a lot of power. There is no low-end power at all. You get about 7,500, 8,000 RPMs all the way to 16. For one, you are screaming, and two, you are hauling ass. That's where all the power is. That can be an interesting situation for a rider. You know, you basically have two bikes, and that's before you have modes. Actually, speaking of modes, let's put this thing in standard, because B is a little too chill for me. It's an R6. I appreciate that they have B mode, but right now I want to know what this bike feels like. As far as body position goes, you are crunched in this R6. You know, really taller riders and really shorter riders, I don't know if I would recommend it. Wow, I can tell it's in standard from the get-go. That's awesome. I don't know what they've done with B mode, but literally it's almost like start assist. It did not have a lot of power. It's very gradual when I was in B mode, and then I put it in standard mode, and when I started going, instantly it was like, okay, cool, we're in standard, so we're good. So I'm a really big fan. I've told you guys, and I say this time, every time I ride a bike with modes, where the modes are very pronounced, like the slow mode is actually slow, the fast mode actually gives you all of the bike. I really appreciate that, because otherwise, what is the point of having modes? You get a bike where all the modes are kind of like, they're basically the same, just slightly different. Man, they shouldn't be. Yeah, that's awesome. Holy shit, standard mode is fast. You know, hold on, I gotta test if this is truly feeling like an R6. Yeah. So when I would take my R6 into the mountains, I would normally have to ride for about 2 hours to get to like really good mountain roads. And when you're on the highway for a while, you gotta prop up and chill. I can happily say the ergonomics are the exact same. We're getting onto the highway. I just flicked it into A mode just so, you know, we can appreciate the motorcycle. I mean, test it. I mean, accelerate hard. That's what I meant, really. Truck, I'm sorry. I'm gonna catch up to you a little bit. Yes! Oh my God, okay, we're at 12,000. You cannot hold on with one hand. Oh my God, yes. That is why you buy a freaking R6. At 12,000 RPMs, you cannot ride with one hand because there is so much power ready to throw you off of the motorcycle, and it will at a moment's notice. Okay, we're gonna stop with that. Oh my God, yes. No wonder when I got an R6 early on in my riding, I freaking did highway runs all the time. Oh my God, that's awesome. I don't recommend doing that, but if you own an R6, you know, find an empty stretch of road and just stretch those legs, because oh my goodness. Also noticing that we've got a gear indicator on here, thank God. The R6 has needed a gear indicator for a long time. I cannot tell you, and you guys that have watched a lot of my videos, how many times have you seen me in 6th gear clicking up on my R6? Because I don't know, you know, I'm just chilling. You know, after a couple of years, you get a feel for where you are in the gears as far as how many revs you're doing at a time. But a gear indicator is so nice. Alright, so as far as wind resistance on the highway, okay, that's a little better actually. That's better than my R6. You feel like you are just cutting through wind right now. I haven't adjusted my mirrors to be able to see down here, but I mean, dude, you feel so cool doing this. Oh my God, I feel awesome. Okay, enough of that. So aerodynamics, dude, you tuck in on this bike and you are, like, wind is not a thing anymore. I can literally feel the wind kind of float over my back, which is really freaking cool. I don't think I've ever really felt like that on a motorcycle, so that's pretty awesome. I want to do that one more time. Man, that's so cool. I know it's like probably minuscule in the video at least, but if you guys go ride one of these, at least take it on the highway just for a second and tuck all the way down, like chest against the tank, and tuck. That's awesome. Giving it some brake, the brakes don't feel that much different. You know, I'm kind of getting spoiled with Brembos these days, so yeah, power band is totally at 8,000. My Jesus. This bike touches 8,000 RPMs in A mode, and it's like, okay, cool. I didn't know that's what we were doing, but I'm ready for it. Turning radius is about the same as the old R6, feels the same at least. Yep. If you notice, when the bike gets to 8,000, the RPMs start climbing much faster. I don't understand the mechanics of it, man, but all I know is if you ride this bike correctly, and you do have to ride it correctly, you know, when you ride like a Daytona, like that triple, it's got power everywhere, so you don't have to be in the right rev range. But if you're riding an R6 up in the mountains, you do have to ride the bike in that peak power area to really get a good feel for the bike. Otherwise, you're gonna be too low in the revs, and you're gonna be like, come on, let's get there, you know, talking about revving the bike up. The best odd analogy I can do for this bike is if my R6 was my house, I feel like I just renovated my home. All I did was I made everything pretty and I added a couple brand new appliances, you know what I mean? But otherwise it's the same house internally. That's pretty much the best I could do analogy wise for this bike. And I will say those additions are amazing. I mean, you have to consider this. The R6 engine was already amazing. So I've seen a couple people say it's just an aesthetic change and they added some tech. Like, okay, exactly. Like I want to see those people and be like, you're proving my argument. Why would you change an engine that is so good and so an engine for that motorcycle? If the R6 engine was any different, it wouldn't be an R6. That's not how, like, this bike is an R6. It should ride like an R6, and I personally feel like Yamaha did a fantastic job adding what the bike needed. You know what I mean? It needed a gear shifter, it needed modes. I mean, granted, it needed a facelift, you know, it needed to look a little different. It's looked the same for like a freaking decade. It's also one of those bikes that it's kind of hard to explain, but when you lean the bike over, it becomes easier to lean the bike over. You know, it kind of falls into a turn. So initially you have to push it a little bit, but it's gonna like go over really quickly. And that's gonna have to do with the type of tires you get as well, but the bike and the ergonomics of the bike, it's part of sitting the rider up so high. There's so much top weight, at least on the rider side. You know, you feel when you lean this bike over, your whole body's leaning over, you know what I mean? And that's one thing that helps you out on the track or riding technical with this bike, because it feels so seamless to just lean over, get your knee down and all that kind of stuff. It's a really fun experience. If you own an R6, I highly recommend you to do at least one track day, so that way you kind of know how it feels, because I feel like you owe it to yourself to really know what the bike, you know, what the bike should be like and what the bike was made to do. All right, so the road ahead of us is more of like a residential area, so I'm going to put it in B mode and I'm gonna ride it like it's a daily rider, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna ride it hard, not gonna lean it over a lot. I just want to see if B mode, it makes the bike feel better, because I hate my R6 going slow. It's not, that's just not what the bike's made for. And every time I'm stuck in traffic on that bike, it's just like, ugh. But I'm hoping that an R6 with B mode might make that a little better. Oh, this is one of those situations where nobody's behind me, so it's not gonna let me go. Right. Alright, well, we're gonna go ahead and go then. There has to be some sort of start assist on this bike, so when you're going from like idle to going, B mode gives you a really smooth transition. That's really cool, and it helps that the power of the bike is not down low, so it's already kind of chill from the get-go. Like, look at B mode. Super smooth. That's awesome. That's actually one of the better slow modes that I've... Wow, okay, cool. That's what we're doing. This B mode is actually one of the better modes I've seen, especially on a super sport. I would personally use that a lot if I had that on my bike, where I'm taking a road to a highway. I would put the bike in B mode, and when I got to the highway, it's just a, you know, it's a click over to A mode. Another thing I'm appreciating a lot is that the modes are changeable on the fly. So as you're going, you can change the modes. Let's see if we can change them while we go. So I'm not going to let go of the throttle. Alright, so it's not going. Let go of throttle, click it, throttle on. That's it. Fair enough. So a lot of bikes, you have to click it over, disengage throttle, pull in the clutch, and then it'll change. As far as the modes, at least, what about traction control? Alright, traction control, throttle off, traction control, throttle on. Okay. Fair enough. That's really awesome. That's actually one of the easier ones I've seen. Because a lot of the times, because of the way traction control works, you have to engage the clutch so that it can like do whatever changing it needs to do, I think. There's no point in having modes if you're going to make them complicated. Ducati. I feel like the instrument panel is a little busy. I know it shows you everything you need, but for my taste, there's just a lot of stuff going on here. One thing I do like about this bike is that it's a mixture of digital, like an analog tack, and then all the instrument stuff, it's digital. So I appreciate that. I kind of like that stuff. I cannot tell you guys how happy I am that this bike has the changes that it has. Like, I almost feel like Yamaha has listened to my videos for like 4 years now, like saying what the R6 needs. The R6 was already a phenomenal bike, but it really needed a couple upgrades, and I feel like I mean, I know Yamaha probably don't watch my damn videos, but you know, it's fun to think that, is that a damn Falcon? No, it's a Crow. Okay, total opposite. Alright, dudes, so the R6 comes in 3 colorways. This awesome white, a kind of Yamaha blue, and a black one. I've seen all of them. By far, the white one speaks to me. So everybody that's into, you know, checking out motorcycles, you see this bike and you're like, oh, it looks like a little baby R1. It's basically what it is. The look and styling is of that 2015, the new model R1. And then, you know, they've taken some of the R1 stuff, put it here, and then they took the really old R1, put it there, or the styling of it. This is personal preference. Some people really like the old R6. I'm telling you, if I had one of these, I promise you I can make one of these look better than my current R6 Holly. I'm a really big fan of this look. The only part I don't really like are these little, like, slow sloth looking lights in the bottom. I realize why they're there, because, you know, seeing in the dark and things. Oh shit, I did not hold on, do those, please tell me those blink, please tell me they blink. I want it so bad, I can't even find them. Yes. Oh my gosh, I would consider keeping those on that bike if I own that bike. We've got the kind of meh brakes. I mean, it's a Yamaha. If you want Brembos, you can fork up the money for it. How else are they going to keep this bike, you know, around the 12,000 range? Dude, there's something going on with me in this neon yellow color. I love it. I'm a huge fan. That's partly why I love this bike specifically. We've got that old R6 engine totally blacked out. Yamaha almost screwed up putting some silver here, but I'll look past it for now. At least you gave me a black engine. The exhaust is terrible, whatever. Oh, what is this? This looks like somebody is missing a fairing. This is stock. This is how this bike is, but God, this bike looks so polished. That kind of stands out to me. You know, if I bought one of these, I think I would powder coat that black so it wasn't, because right now if you look back at it, this is what pokes out, because, you know, it's black, black, black. Cling! Let's talk about this tail for a second. Love it. So good. Yidge. Huge fan of that tail. Granted, it is literally pointless. I don't know why this isn't just a seat cowl. Nobody in their right mind is going to ask their girlfriend or their boyfriend to sit on that. Hold on. Just out of curiosity. Like, let's just say the R6 doesn't have any storage unless it's underneath the seat. I'm fine with that. I would rather have a dope looking seat. Look at this. That is a dope looking bike. I've moved on past R6s at this point in my riding career, but man, if I was starting riding and I was ready to move up to a 600, boy, you can bet your ass I would be on this bike. Okay, I mean, I can sit here and talk about this thing all day long, so what I'm going to do is rev the bike up for you guys. Before I do, though, I want to tell you guys that every first ride I do a blog post. I take some dope-ass photos, especially of really good-looking bikes like this, and I do an audio test with an actual audio recorder. So if you guys want to hear what the bike actually sounds like, because I'm going to rev it up for you with this little GoPro, but if you want to hear what the bike actually sounds like, and you want to see some really cool high-res downloadable photos, make sure to check out the blog post. It'll be on Chaseontwowheels.com, and or there'll be a description link. But for now, we're gonna just listen to it in the GoPro microphone. You know, for an R6, for a 600, it sounds really tame. From experience, you put like an M4 on there, and suddenly you're like, oh, that's what the bike sounds like. Got it. All right. Oh, snap. Look, check that out. The bike has ABS. I knew it had ABS, but I didn't see it. So you got ABS in the front. Do you have ABS in the rear? Do you? Nice. ABS in the front and rear. I don't see any type of ABS button, so maybe that's just always on. Okay, let's get back on this thing and let's finish this ride up, guys. So all technical things aside, there's one thing that I love about the R6 that I feel like a lot of bikes don't have, and that is a connection from the throttle to the power of the motorcycle. There is no jumpiness, there is no lag in an R6 throttle. If you twist it, stuff happens. Now, the one thing I can't stand is when bikes have a little bit of play in the throttle, because you twist it, you twist the throttle and your brain expects you to go, but then there's that little lag period where it's like, oh, I haven't engaged, and it'll wiggle back and forth. that wiggle, I mean, that one wiggles too, but all I know is when I twist it, there is a hard connection between that throttle and that engine. And that's one thing I'm really surprised. My Daytona 675R, it has a lot of play, and that gets annoying when you're doing like low speed stuff. It is so helpful to have a throttle that's just like rock solid. You can probably adjust that. I shouldn't be giving shit to the Daytona, but the R6 feels like, I love the throttle feel. All right, so what are my final thoughts on the 2017 Yamaha R6? Engine hasn't changed. That's good news. I loved the engine beforehand, still love it now. It feels almost identical to what I currently have. I feel like Yamaha has given this bike everything that it needs to give it. I don't think it needs Brembo brakes. You can add those. I don't think it necessarily needs like a TFT fancy display. I'm totally okay with an upgraded display with more information. I think it really needed modes, and I think they did a really good job. Standard mode works. I see myself being in A or B mode. Adjustable suspension, thank God, because the R6 is such a good track bike. It's sad that for so long it didn't have adjustable suspension. That's something, you know, if you're going to do the track a lot, which you could buy an R6 for, it kind of needed that, you know. And now it has traction control that you can turn all the way off if you want to, and it has ABS. These are all things that it needed. Oh, another thing it needed was a facelift. It needed an update, and the R1 looked dope. Why not bring it to the R6 and have that cohesion between the bikes? I love it, man. I really love it. As far as my 5-point helmet, pixel helmet scale, I love my R6. I think this is better. I'm gonna give this thing a 4.5, man. I have really liked what they've done with the R6, and I know Yamaha probably didn't watch my videos and, you know, give a shit about my channel, but if they did, they listened to everything I needed in the R6. This is the R6 that I wish I would have had for 5 years. So as far as who is this bike for, you know, if you're gonna do mostly in-city riding or really chill riding, you've got B mode, but you know, I wouldn't really recommend this bike for that, because you're not gonna really enjoy and appreciate the bike for what you could. I would say this bike is much more focused for a track bike. It could be an all-in-one bike, but you need to do like a lot of technical riding, a lot of illegal highway riding. You know, you'd have to do a lot of riding like that to even out. But all I'm gonna say is you would be doing this bike a disservice if you don't ride it hard. Like, that's where this bike feels like its puzzle piece is placed when you're riding the bike how it's supposed to be ridden. So that's what I'll say for that. And guys, that brings me to the end of my first ride on the 2017 Yamaha R6. I also have to give a big shout out to my boys over at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell. They're the dealership that let me ride all of these freaking bikes for you guys, so you can get a feel for what the bike is like riding it for the first time, and that can help you with the buying decision, or if you're, you know, doing some research on a bike and you just want to watch every video on YouTube about this specific bike. I'm really happy to say I'm now doing a thing with Mountain Motorsports only in Roswell. If you go to Roswell and you want this specific motorcycle, they will give you $1,000 off this motorcycle. It's like a Chaseontwowheels first ride special thing, and it's only this white bike that Roswell has. If you go there and you tell them you saw the Chaseontwowheels first ride and he said you could get $1,000 off, they will legit give you $1,000 off. I don't know why, but you know what, power to them, dude. So yeah, if you guys are in the mood for an R6 and you want a dumb freaking deal, power to you. This one could be yours, this beautiful baby right here. But anyways, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. That is a Chaseontwowheels first ride with the 2017 Yamaha R6. I will see you guys on the next first ride or the next video that I put out on Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. If you guys are big fans of the first ride, make sure to click that first ride playlist that I have down in the description. You can see all the first rides I've done on all the bikes, and make sure to check out my website where I have all of my first ride blog posts. Oh my god, the view from the back of that Volt looks awesome. Let me see the blinkers. Oh, that's so cool. God, I love pretty things, and this bike is totally a pretty thing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.